I'm Melissa Chartrand. I'm joined by Marie Grady Palcic. And Marie, our viewers, I'm sure, have recognized many of your photographs. We have our Arts Barnstable website and Facebook page, and you have been helping post the most amazing photographs and series, and we will talk about that. But before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about you and your background and your love of photography.
Well, you know, it started a long time ago when I was a teenager, back in the day when they had like film cameras that were, you put in your pocket cameras. I mean, they were really bad, worse than the point and shoots that you would ever see out there now, or a cell phone. But I fell in love with it and found that getting the photographs back from the lab was probably the best part. When I went to a wedding, a family wedding, and my cousin had a 35mm that he let me borrow for a month, and within a week I had bought my own. No clue on how to use it because they're kind of complicated, especially back then with everything was manual, except the little point and shoots were not, but these were. But there was so much more you could do with it. It fascinated me. So I ended up buying like 1,000,000 books, studied them until I was blue in the face, but I learned the complicated interaction of the shutter speed versus the f-stop versus whatever, and loved it. Played with it. It was a game, it was a toy. It wasn't a job or a career or anything, but it was fun. And then
and it's grown from there.
It's grown from there, absolutely. Absolutely, into something. I did it I was lucky enough to get a job as a retail photographer. Did that for 35 years, so I loved it to death. But as you go, anything gets old, and I was more in the management side when I left.
Right.
And I missed the photography side of it. And then digital came around, and digital was like a miracle because you could see your pictures right away. You didn't have to wait till the lab sent you
Do
back.
you miss that though, Marie?
No.
Do you?
No, because to see the instant gratification of the photograph
Sure.
right then, I think you learn quicker what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right. Composition can be addressed right there when you're photographing, so you don't have that delay and have to go back and figure out what settings you had. The settings are captured for you, so you can even learn from that. And I found that to be not only changed how I photographed, it also changed what I saw. I saw things differently as a result of the digital photography explosion. And that doesn't even get to the part where you start enhancing pictures or editing. I mean, that was another whole world of
Sure.
craziness.
Tell me a little bit though, let's go back to what you saw. So for example, when you came in for the interview today, we're in the town hall building and you fell in love with the bricks and you mentioned a doorknob, so things speak to you.
They do. You know, I think it was years ago I had got uninspired for a while, and I had to inspire myself and to keep myself creative and looking differently. I had assigned myself a word every morning, and that word, say it was round, I would look for round things in my world that day. The next day it might be green, the next day it might be wind. Those made me see the same world I was in differently every single day. And that's what makes me see the knob or the bricks, and there's more bricks behind me that are, I mean,
They're just jumping out at you.
Yeah, because the word may be texture on a given day. I still give myself assignments, and I think that makes me work harder at learning what's around me, but also see the world so differently that it works for me. Enough that I retired to do it all the time, so
Right.
that I don't have to.
I know we always see you with a camera. We've been in the shanties. You were in the shanty last year and this year
Loved
again.
it.
You've captured an engagement, wedding, lights, everything.
Birthdays.
Birthdays. Always with your camera. And that led us to the villages and help with the posts and the 777, which is along these themes. Let's talk a little bit about that. We have 7 villages in the town of Barnstable.
Yes.
And for 7 days you
It
capture
was such a match.
items.
I was having trouble with the Arts Barnstable, understanding where to focus myself with. The town is so, it's bigger than I thought, you know, and there's more there, and I knew I was missing things, so I decided with you that day to try and pick a word and photograph that word in each of those villages throughout a week, and it exploded in my brain. I mean, it made me see the whole town in such a different way. There's so much more there than I've been coming here for 60 years and lived here for almost 4. And to see that town so differently because of the 7 series
Yes.
was mind-boggling to me.
And it's funny that each of our villages have such unique character
Oh my
to
God,
them.
yes.
And then even within the objects that you capture, let's talk about a few of them: the benches, or the umbrellas, or
Oh.
the doors.
It was fascinating. I went with church first because I knew there were I figured there'd be 7 churches, and I didn't want to start something I couldn't finish that week, but I didn't know because I try and shoot it that exact day. But the churches, they weren't easy to find. I had to Google some of them, and they were outstanding. And there at a church would be a bench or a door that would catch my eye, so I was coming up with words for the next time. I think bench and bicycle were probably the hardest so far. Bicycle, I could not find that last one. I mean, I drove, I mean, we're talking hundreds of miles to
And
try
you would
and
think
find
that
it.
wouldn't be. You would think it would be so easy, but what a fascinating way to push yourself, as you say,
Yeah.
with these words and challenges.
does.
But then to look at our village and explore in a whole new light. You said you've learned so much about each of the places, and
There's so much history, and there's so much beauty, and there's a road that you go down that, you know, you drive down the same road every day, but if I'm looking for a bike versus a bench versus a door, I'm seeing different things.
Sure.
So it opens my mind to the rest of my life. When I am coming in here, I saw the bricks because I'm so used to looking around me. You start to see things more, and it expands my life and expands my art in a way that I can't be more grateful for.
how beautiful and how inspiring, hopefully for our viewers too,
Yes, I hope
to
so.
stop where they say, take a different turn. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe we'll also have you do some tours. We'll launch a whole new career for you, Marie.
I can
we'll
show
do
a lot
some
of bikes.
auto tours. I'm actually excited for next year. You're working. We'll let our viewers know on a project along the lines of what the Barnstable Historical Society did of then and now.
Yeah.
And our 7 shanties are each named for one of our villages. And so we'll tease it a little to say that next spring there will be a very exciting photo exhibit from a little bit of that then and now. That's
Yeah.
all we'll say for now.
Yeah, I can't wait.
But
It's
thank you
exciting.
so much for coming in and sharing a little bit about you and your
Absolutely.
photography. I hope our viewers will take a time to look at some more
Thank you.
of your work, and definitely on artsbarnstable.com. We're on Instagram and Facebook and our website to enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. For
I
Marie
appreciate
Grady
it.
Palcic, I'm Melissa Chartrand, wishing you an artful day.